Hello the vinyl community and YouTube, JorgenS here with another vinyl and CD update, my first for 2016. The year has started pretty good actually, even though I feel like I haven't been having the time to go in the city's second-hand store as I want to, due to work and other stuff and different after Christmas holidays that we have here in Sweden, which makes all the stores closed actually. So but some of the albums that I'm going to show, vinyl albums, will be have been bought after my previous update in December actually. That is for during 2015. But hopefully it will do anyway, and I'm going to give you a quick peek of how much I have to show. All this is what I have to go through right now. So starting right away with some CDs. It's been a very interesting month for CDs. I felt like I wanted a really great 80s collection of Billy Idol. This is Billy Idol songs, 11 of the best. This compilation were released in 1988, and it contained his best 80s tracks. Of course I'm missing Cradle of Love that I like very much, but that one came in 1990, but I have it on single on the other hand. We're having here White Wedding, Hot in the City, Eyes Without a Face, To Be a Lover, Don't Need a Gun, Dancing with Myself. I think this is a collection that would be very, very great nostalgia. More collections from old 80s artists. Having here a great 2 CD collection by Aha, Norwegian band. This is their album 25. Shout out to Adam87, who is a real Aha fan. This collection is released in 2010, and what was then supposed to be their final album. However, they have been now coming with a great single called Under the Makeup. Highly recommended. However, this contains all their hits from Take On Me, their first album, all the way to their was supposed then to be their final single, Butterfly, The Last Hurrah. So very, very interesting. And this one was even more interesting. 2 rarities by Erasure, having the 2 Ring Circus. This is a pretty rare mix album that contains a lot of remixes. However, these remixes aren't all that bad actually. They're pretty good. Mainly because mixes normally contains dance mixes that have no melody and more or less just for the dance floor. Here they have actually kept the melody, the refrain and everything, and you can hear that it is actually sometimes, and it doesn't have to be a victim of love and so on. Even though they have been doing new arrangements and new productions to the songs, so they are pretty good mixes, no doubt. Overall, this seems to be more or less a little mixed by Erasure, because we have around 7 remixes plus 4 songs with orchestral arrangements of old Erasure songs with Andy Bell and an orchestra. And then we're having all the live tracks that they released on these live EPs that I have shown a couple of times before. So very, very interesting, including a live version of ABBA's Gimme 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 way before they released ABBA-esque. So this is a very, very interesting rarity. And more Erasure. If that one was special and rare, about this one. This is actually a bootleg, a live bootleg called Audio Visual, released in 1992. Live concert from London, 11th July 1992 in London. And this one is pretty good recorded, even though I wish you could, the one who has recorded had been standing more in the middle, because you hear more of Andy Bell's song than you hear the bass in the synthesizers from Vince Clarke. But still, it's very close. You can hear it very good. So it's a very fun thing to have nonetheless. I will listen to quick peeks and it sounds very interesting. And you have here also all the songs from ABBA-esque. Some Swedish CDs. I talked a lot of times about my favorite Swedish singer-songwriter, Peter LeMarc. This one I have on a cassette copy, but now I also have it on a real album. Nio broars väg, a great album from 1997. Nio broars väg, translated 9 bridges road. And this contains, among others, one of my favorite Peter LeMarc songs from the late 90s, Du och jag mot världen, You and Me Against the World. So very interesting, very great album. This is jazz singer Victoria Tolstoy, and yes, she is related to author Leo Tolstoy in a very distant way. This is the album För älskad, Be Loved, from 1996, and this one is, even though she sings normally jazz, this is a more pop-oriented album that sounds very jazz poppy, a little smooth jazz style, and I think this is a great album. And I've been listening to this one, and it's a really relaxing and soft album with some of the Sweden's absolute best writers and composers, like Mauro Scocco. We have David Schutrik, just favorite of mine, and we have Peter LeMarc here again. He has been written a couple of songs for this album. So this is a highly recommended, really great album. And I actually bought myself a CD single this month. There is a song that I didn't like one bit when it arrived in 1998. 1998 is not a year that I actually will be showing all that much of as a celebration, because it's one of my least favorite years of the 90s. And when this song came, Sweetbox, Everything's Gonna Be Alright, which is a rap version of Bach's Air. And when this one came, I thought it was very cheap and very boring, and I was fed up with all this rap music, so I didn't like this one bit. But I listened to an old radio show recently, and when this actually was played, and it was the first time in ages since I heard it, and it struck me that this isn't bad at all. This is actually pretty good. Imagine that I have been spending now almost 18 years thinking that this one is bad, and all of a sudden I realize that this actually is pretty good. So sometimes I surprise myself. So very good. See the single indeed. One vinyl single, Baccara Yes Sir I Can Boogie, cult classic, and not the best lyrics, but that is the charm with this song. And actually I like the production. It's little special, little mysterious productions. And the interesting thing here is that Baccara is Spanish group, and this is actually a Spanish release of the single. So very fun to have, even though it is a song that is more funny than actually good, but it is cult classic. So on to the huge stack of vinyl albums. Great start for 70s music. Starting here with a maybe the best album of this month. Gladys Knight and the Pips from 1973, Imagination. This is really, really great. Really relaxing, awesome melodies. Gladys Knight is singing awesome here, and it contains a Gladys Knight song that I really, really like, and I'm so happy to have in its physical format, Midnight Train to Georgia, alongside with the Once in a Lifetime thing, Best Things That Ever Happened to Me, Storms of Troubled Times. She sings so fantastic here, and this is a really, really relaxing and awesome 70s soul production. It has only one little bad thing, and that is that in the final songs of this album, the male vocalist isn't half as good as Gladys Knight to sing, but still it is very listenable. A great, so great producer, so I can bear with it. This is a highly recommended 70s soul album. Here is a band that I discovered during last year when I listened to an old radio show from the 70s, where they played a song called Imaginary Lover by Atlanta Rhythm Section, and I'm very happy to find the album with that song on, Champagne Jam from 1978. And I definitely like this album very, very much because it's so very, very interesting, many styles combined in it. I really like the song Imaginary Lover, and with that there's a lot of songs that are very soft and very relaxing to listen to, along with a song like Large Time that are very bluesy, very rocky, very different moods in this album, and I really like this album, highly recommended. Hopefully there will be more Atlanta Rhythm Section in my collection in the future. More 70s soul, classic Smoky Mountain and the Miracles, Flying High Together from 1972. Released on classic Tamla Motown. This is actually my first Smokey Robinson album, and it's my third album with the Miracles. It'll be very interesting. This one was very interesting. Aretha Franklin with Sweet Passion from 1977. Really, really more relaxing Aretha Franklin, and I like that one. It is also some funky tracks, really awesome produced, awesome melodies. Maybe the best Aretha Franklin album that I have, and still I have most Aretha album that I have are from the 80s. And we're having some great musicians here. We're having David Page later on in Toto. We have here also Ray Parker Jr. We have Lee Ritenour and Lamento Sierra produced. So this one is very, very recommended. Sweet Passion by Aretha Franklin. Leaving the Soul. This is an album that I've been seeing. I don't remember who showed it, but I have seen it on Vinyl Community, and I got very interested in it. I checked it up, and I was very, very interested in what I heard on YouTube. So I bought myself an old copy of it, and it's pretty cheap because it's easy to find it in Swedish secondhand stores. Rebel by John Miles from 1976. I had Stranger the City, the follow-up album to this one before, and when I was a teenager I thought that one was pretty boring, so I gave it away. But this one is very, very good. I really like this album. And what else can I do when it's produced by Alan Parsons from Alan Parsons Project? That makes this album very, very relaxing. It's a lot of singer-songwriter style, and it's also some little experimental symphonic rock style, but in the ground it is a very nice ground of rock music actually. So it is very, very gives many kinds of moods, this album, but it's a really, really great album. And speaking of albums that the vinyl community have helped me to discover, I think it is Mr. Hall of Fame showed him, and I got very interested in this artist. I don't remember it was this album that he showed, but he showed this artist, and I got very interested in it. I've heard him before, but I haven't been paying much attention to his music. And not too long ago, B-Size Jenny showed this album, and when I saw this album uh, at a secondhand store, I thought that I would get my own copy of it. Joe Jackson's "I'm the Man" from 1979. I haven't listened to the entire album, but I've listened to quick peeks, and it sounds very interesting, very different kind of styles, and very, very interesting stuff. So I'm going to give the entire album a spin very soon. Shout out to you both who gave the tip of Joe Jackson for me. And I have discovered a new favorite 70s artist that I'm very happy to find a lot of records with. Not one, not two, but 3 albums by Dan Fogelberg. Singer-songwriter, and I really, really like his albums. His style, very soft, and very fun to find this much albums by him. Having first here Home Free from 1972. Really great album, relaxing. So it's a very, very awesome album. Then have here Netherlands from 1977, and this one was my absolute favorite. This one was really, really awesome, relaxing. I love the melodies. Only one problem is that when it goes up in falsetto, it really don't fit for that, but still I think this is awesome actually. Some Dancing Shoes, really great song. Once Upon a Time, the title track is really, really good, so highly recommended. Beautiful album. And also this one, I think Björn Jakobsen showed this one. I may be wrong, and if I am, please forgive me. But this is a great, great album, a double album from 1980-81 called The Innocent Age. This is a song cycle, and not as good as the other two 70s album, but still this is a very good album with very interesting productions. It is very interesting songs, relaxing, so still a very good album. So hopefully I will find more Dan Fogelberg in the future. And hopefully I will find more of this guy. This is an artist I've been discovering through a radio show called El Dorado, whose host, Kjell Arlinge, died not too long ago, and was a favorite radio host of mine. So rest in peace, Kjell Arlinge. Thanks for all the radio memories. The intro theme of that show and many songs that he played were made by this artist, Rupert Hine, and the album The Wildest Wish to Fly. This is, as you can see here, also a promotion copy. This is a relaxing and very, very interesting experimental album. Call it adult synthesizer pop. And I really like this album. It's really, really relaxing and great produced, very awesome sound. So more Rupert Hine in my collection, please. Now going to leave the pop music. Here is the only jazz album I've been finding. Bill Harris Memorial Album, Bill Harris trombone, Terry Gibbs vibes, vibraphone, Lou Levy piano, Red Mitchell bass, and Stan Levy drums. All these guys were members of Woody Herman's first Herd, his first big band. And all of these songs here are Woody Herman songs, including Early Autumn, one of his absolute best songs. Having Blue Flame here, having Woodchopper's Ball, we have Apple Honey, Your Father's Mustache. So it is more or less a tribute to Woody Herman, even though they made it sound like it's a tribute to Bill Harris. Released on Xanadu in 1983, but the recordings are from 1957. This is a good album, even though it has his spots. I think that they could have a little bit more energy. I don't think they play all that tight as I want it to be, and there are some songs that are nothing more than good. Blue Flame is Woody Herman's version, a great song. Here it is so-so. But it has also some very great points. Your Father's Mustache is very, very awesome with funny singing in the end. I like their version of my favorite jazz song, Early Autumn. Also, Apple Honey is pretty good. So I'm not sure if I'm going to. I think I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep it for now. But what I will do in future cullings, I cannot promise. But for now, it stays in the collection because it has some really, really great tracks also. Hammond Organ. When I buy Hammond Organ, it's more or less many blind buys. There are many Hammond organists that I have no clue who they are. But I got very interested in this one. Rudolph and his swinging Hammond organ and La Rotunda del Hotel Phoenix in La Palma de Mallorca. From what I understand, is recorded at the Hotel Phoenix at Mallorca. I had no clue who this Rudolph actually was. Maybe it's a guy that is just a regular musician at the hotel. If anyone knows more, you can write in the comment section. But this one was started a little slow, but actually in more into the album it became really, really good, really awesome, really relaxing, as to say, relaxing sound and great Hammond organ music. Having Fly Me to the Moon, very interesting Christmas mix here, and we're having If I Was a Rich Man and Yesterday, the Beatles song. So very much easy listening, but really, really good. Gunnar Wiklund, the Swedish version of Jim Reeves, you might call him, has a very, very, I love his voice, his fantastic deep voice, and great Schlager singer. And I think this one, I thought it was an original, but now I think it is a compilation. But still, I love his music, and it's some really great songs, so it will most likely stay in collection nonetheless. And finally, an artist that I've been finding much with during this past year, and it's shocking because before that I hardly knew who this was, but now I think he's a fantastic musician. Johan Lyndell and his album Fogelberg, Bird Road, and his previous albums have been, might also call this, Swedish adult synth pop music, and he sings in Swedish, and containing one of his more famous songs, Blöta marmorgolv, and hope I haven't been able to listen to this one yet, but I will, and hopefully it will be just as good as the other ones. So those were my findings in January. Hopefully there will be a just as good February, although the February last year was pretty horrible. So hopefully this year's February will be much better. And with that, I hope that you all had found something that you got interested in, that you enjoyed this. And until next time, hope you have a very nice continuing of the week, and so long.